This question is asking, one thing I was wondered about with tattoos and gender identities and that is God created man in his image. So does he see us getting plastic surgery and modifications in that as some form of blasphemous vandalism?
Tina, I mean, tell me if you're wrong, when you think I'm wrong, but again, we're dealing with a God who really loves us. And yeah, he made us in our image. And I don't think necessarily he gets angry when it happens. I think it's more like his heart is broken. I mean, you just think of any movie and you see, uh, think like, I don't know, go to date myself, like the Short Circuit movie, right? And you have the robot, and the most traumatic scene is the one where the robot gets attacked and destroyed and damaged. You're like, no, no, not Johnny Five. And then that I think God has the same attitude for us. And so when we are tempted to go down the path of the modifications, the changes, things like that, God's like, why are you hurting yourself? Why are you damaging yourself? Why are you desecrating yourself? Because I think I see Satan standing back and laughing at what he's doing to us.
Mhm.
And it breaks God's heart. So I don't think it's not a matter of his anger or necessarily think in terms of, oh, this is vandalism, this is blasphemy. I mean, God could take that attitude, but I don't think he does. So someone who has gone through that process, I don't think they have cut themselves off from God. Absolutely not. God is looking forward to the day when he could give them a brand new body
Mhm.
that's even more glorious and amazing than the ones we have today. But
Mhm.
that's my
Yeah,
thought.
I mean, I think of it like imagine an artist who has created a masterpiece and somebody comes along and just starts cutting into that masterpiece and damaging it. That artist is going to feel hurt by that, or going to feel sad that this masterpiece isn't able to convey what it was intended to convey in the way it was intended to do that. It's going to need help now and additional work into it to, fix that. And I also think of like a parent to a child, and imagine like, you know, a mother gives birth to this child, and at a young age, somebody comes along and starts manipulating that child into believing weird things and leading them down a path that's harmful to them, making them believe things that they don't about themselves that aren't true, and wanting to harm themselves. And like that would break that parent's heart. They would feel extremely, you know sad. They wouldn't be angry at that child because that child maybe didn't know what was going on, but they would feel extremely um sad and by this, and at times frustrated by it, perhaps of how do I help my child not end up in this path, in this harmful path, but how do I help them to know that they are loved and to know that um, that they matter and that they are created perfectly, and they don't need to be um, have all these other things done with them. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and I think too, you know, I think you guys are very much on point that God is a God of love. God loves everybody, and He doesn't want any harm to be done to His children. And we're made in His image, and so I think the biggest thing that, Satan wants to take away from us is the knowledge of who we are as God's children, and that we are made in his image, and where God says you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're beautiful. And it's sad that so many people in the world believe these lies that they aren't beautiful, that they aren't attractive, that they aren't lovable in some way. So they need to modify themselves. And, you know, I've seen I grew up, or I lived a while in Orange County, and I saw a lot of women who did a lot of plastic surgery, and it just broke my heart because I could see that a lot of these women, not everybody, but many of them, they felt very empty, and they're very sad, and so they would do these modifications to themselves to try to fill a hole inside, basically for love. And I think that that's a big thing that's going on in our world, is there's just this big need for love, and people are looking for ways to get that love, but they're looking in the wrong places. And if they look to God, they would see a God who loves them because he made them in their image, and he loves them just the way God loves you just the way you are. So, yeah, it's just kind of more sad. Not that God, because God's not an angry, mean, vicious God. God is a God of love, and he's tenderly trying to help his children understand just how much they love him. And I think that idea of parent-child, it's like if your child doesn't think that you love them, they're doing these weird things. It's like, don't you understand that I loved you just when you came out? That was it. Like I fell in love with you. That was it. Like you don't need to do all these weird changes because you are perfect just the way I I bore you. So
Mhm.
that would be more what I would think as far as that situation. But yeah, but God gives
Yeah.
us the freedom of choice. So
And then Francine, I guess, is talk about transgenderism surgery, and that was sort of, I guess, a part of Darius's question. And yeah, I think everything we said applies there. I mean, Satan is actively trying to hurt us, damage us, take us down to paths that he hopes would separate us from God, and God is always there for us, rather calling us back to him.